Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of CUZZO-OP. We don't know what to call this episode, but we know that it needs to exist. We've been talking about how there are sometimes moments when things happen in gaming, in movies and TV shows, and we want to just get a couple thoughts off, get a space where we could just say what we feel about things. So we're thinking it's either going to be called Update. These episodes will be Update, Update 1, Update 2, Update 3, or Pulse, because we got our finger on the pulse of things. So it could be Pulse 1, Pulse 2, Pulse 3. We need you to help us make a decision on this. So in the comments, or if you're listening on Spotify, there will be a poll. Help us figure out when we should do this. We're thinking we're going to drop this earlier in the week, not on Fridays, probably on Tuesdays. They won't be anything longer than about 15 minutes, where we'll just jump into a couple of topics. So we thank you for tuning into Pulse or Update 1. My name is Isaiah. I am the host here at CUZZO-OP, and I'm joined by my co-host, my brother, and my cousin,
Willie, also known as Arrow to the Face.
Yes, sir. And today's Pulse/Update is actually going to be on some video games. There's been some news that have come out. The world is losing their minds over Wukong. I'm seeing a lot of conversations online about this game, and it's funny because they're all, as soon as people started playing this, oh, it's the game of the year. Oh, everybody loves the GOATY talk. They love to put the GOATY on everything.
Right
Especially
away.
this
Right
Elden
away,
Ring
bro.
looking shit.
Right away.
So I wanted to know what your gang, your camp thinks about this. What do you think about this? Tell me, Willie, I'm curious.
So I don't have the game.
Me either.
And no one in my camp has the game either.
One of them does in mine.
So, I mean, it's like no one that I really talk with plays these types of games. One person is in the middle of playing Elden Ring now, so they weren't ready to go hop into this because they're in the middle of Elden Ring. So what have I seen in other circles that I'm a part of, not necessarily closely connected to, is that it's a fun game.
Right.
You know, they saying, oh, this is like Elden Ring and God of War had a child together, and it's a mix of both, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I see the creatures, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I could do that. But
me and some bugs.
It looks fun. It's just not fun for me. Like, I don't know if it's my type of game. And I feel like the closest I've gotten to those Elden Ring type games, and I know people gonna make fun, cut ass, whatever, are the Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, and or God of War stylized games.
Yeah.
But they have the filters, the Star Wars filter, or the GOAT, God of War, Norse mythology, old PlayStation titles coming back in a new way filter. So, but I like the character of the Wukong and what he's from, and I understand that significance, which is why I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
But will I be getting it? Probably not, unless I, for some reason, want to spend money on something during a sale day, and I'm like, I'll try it out, but it'd have to be real nice. You know what I mean? So. But I respect it. I don't know, game of the year, that always conversation gets thrown out too fast.
Bro, they throwing it out so fast.
Too fast. I don't start thinking about that until November.
Well, I'm saying that's what we should be. I mean, the Academy isn't reviewing what the movie of the year is until the year's done. So, but yeah, man, I mean, it's got almost 600,000 reviews on Steam, 10 out of 10, 5 stars, and a lot of spaces. And yeah, man, I think the Chinese mythology, I mean, a couple of cool accomplishments for Wukong that I think is tough is that this was a mobile game studio that's making their first, I guess it would be like a AA platform game, like on all platforms. And I think that that's cool for them as an accomplishment for you to have created this. Do I think Elden Ring is why this game is successful right now and the way that Elden Ring kind of cracked the door? Yes, I do think that. I don't know, man. I'm waiting as well. I'm waiting for a sale. When a sale comes out, maybe this winter, this November, when things start to slow down a little bit for me, I'll get in there and I'll run it. A lot of people who are saying that I would love it say I would love it because I loved Sifu from Sony, and Sifu has this very like calculated combat, almost like a puzzle out of the combat, and that's what it seems like this is as well. So I'll definitely be checking it out, bugs or not. But I'm gonna wait.
I think right now where I'm at in my gaming experience is either entertainment in terms of like I'm looking for a good fun multiplayer time, or I'm really tied into the things that I already know. Casting of Frank Stone dropped last week, and I'm like, oh, Dead by Daylight, Supermassive, I know that. Outlaws dropped, Star Wars, I know that, you know what I mean? And not to say that I'm against games that I don't know, because I love diving into new things, but where I'm currently at in life and where my time is, I prefer to go into the areas where I feel like I'm going to get the most of it right now. And that's where I'm at. And that's really all it is for me.
I respect that. I mean, in the movie side, you've been watching tons of different movies you've never seen before.
That's where I'm dipping into the new.
I respect that. We'll see what happens. We're definitely going to end up having to have a conversation about this game. We will see it come around when the Game of the Year awards come around in the top of next year. But let's talk about Astro real quick. Astro Bot. The day that we're recording this right now is September 5th, and the game just dropped today. And I wanted to hear what you think about this, because me personally, I'm big on this. Now, let me preface. I get every Mario game that comes out for my Switch. I get every single game. I've been a fan of Mario since 64, since the NES versions of Super Mario. Like, I love Mario. But I am a really big fan of the Super Mario Sunshines, the Super Mario Galaxies, the Super Mario Wonder. And I copped all of those. So this game looks like what people are saying is it's almost like Super Mario 64, but for Sony's version, Sony's take on this. And I love that Sony is allowing all of these IPs to be involved in a game like this. I feel like it's a game for gamers. And a lot of the reviews that we're seeing as of today, they're 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 9 out of 10. It's looking like another banger for this summer. So I copped it already. I'm going to be playing it tonight. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to see what's up with it. And I bought the controller. I got the controller. I got one of those limited edition before they sold out Jones. Pre-ordered that bad boy. Comes in tomorrow. Let's go. So what's up with you? Are you going to play Astro? What have you heard about it?
I want to play Astro. I loved Astro's Playroom. It was the tech demo that was on the PlayStation 5 when you first get the system. Took me a while to play it. And when I went around to it, I was like, yo, this is a real genius way to show off your tech. It was a fun way, simple way. And I do want to play this. I didn't buy it because within the last week, I've already bought 2 games, right?
Yeah, you're going crazy with your little deal you got going on.
And October is another area, so I'm probably going to pick it up around Black Friday is my thought process.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I'm going to do with Outlaws.
Listen, what I've seen is, Little Big Planet is saying goodbye. And saying, Astro, you gonna carry me now. You gonna carry my legacy. And that's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
And so that gets me excited. I love the Easter eggs. You go walking around, you can see Joel and Ellie doing whatever, and then Kratos and Boy. And it looks like nothing but a fun time that I would enjoy. And I'm sure it does a hell of a lot for the system's technological capabilities and controller capabilities.
Yes.
I need a new controller. It seems like my R2 is beginning to.
It's time for a new one.
It's time for a new one. Which it's unfortunate, right? Because I got the Spider-Man one. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost gone.
I've been shooting too many dudes, bro.
Probably
too many.
Probably.
Yeah, bro. You're in that John playing as Kratos throwing his axe. You're playing as Aloy from Horizon shooting arrows. You're turning gears like Ratchet with Clank on his back, like. You can wear the skin of all these characters, Rapper, Nathan Drake. Like, it's just, if you love Sony and you've been around since day one, which we know, PlayStation 1, boy, was one of my first consoles. Like, to see Astro in some of these clips, taking out a memory card from PlayStation 1 and blowing into it like we used to try to get I love that. Like, I love that they're giving a lot of love and showing a lot of heart toward the people who've been rocking with them since the beginning.
Yeah, so, I got a hot take. And,
what's your hot take?
We've been discussing at CUZZO-OP dropping perhaps a episode related entirely to hot takes. However, I feel like from what I've seen of this game, and I'm a PlayStation sider. I side with PlayStation in the console wars for reasons. No. My hot take is that, and I'm probably bugging out right now. You know, there's always room for me to not understand what I'm saying, especially when it's in the heat of the moment. This episode just became a concept about 10 minutes ago when we clicked record. Let's do this.
That's facts. Go ahead, go.
This seems like one of, if not the first project in my eyes from the studios under PlayStation that have dropped exclusively for the PS5 that holds passion.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's what I have to say.
It's a good take. And I hope we get more, you know, because there are projects that are not exclusively from Sony, but are other companies creating games with Sony's approval, like we did with Helldivers earlier this year, Helldivers 2. And there's another game that came out in that same fashion by the name of Concord. And that's another thing I want to talk to you about. I want to talk about Concord. You know, those who aren't aware, Concord is a game developed by, I can't remember what the studio is. Is it Fire Axis, maybe, or something? I don't remember.
Maybe Firewalk, Fire something.
Something Fire, I think. But these guys made this game. The beta came out about a month and a half ago, and no one played the beta. No one played the beta. The pre-orders were extremely low. And when the game dropped, hardly anyone was playing it. And as soon as it started to come out, it was another hero shooter, which we mentioned is a big thing right now. In the wake of Overwatch 2 dropping the ball and opening up that window, it seems like a lot of people are trying to take advantage of that. And Sony backed Concord trying to do exactly that too. And it failed. It failed. The game it came out to absolute hate. And it was wild because it's like the type of hate that I was seeing when Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League was coming out. It felt like people had already made their minds up about this game, which I think is unfortunate about the gaming community, me personally. But
I mean, it's really the entertainment community at this day and age.
Really. It's either you like it or you don't like it, and there's no room for anything in the middle.
And you decided 2 months before.
Yeah, like before you could even, you know, experience it, you know. And I was on the message boards of different people on the comment section talking about, nah, I'm gonna run this. Like, I'll definitely be copying this. This was in my list of games I was gonna cop because when I played the beta, I enjoyed the way it felt. I thought it was a good feel. I like the way the shooting. I'm tired of COD. I'm so tired of COD. I played the beta last weekend for closed. I pre-ordered for nothing. It's just the same game. It's not anything new. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, a new shooter. Oh, this is gonna be fire, bro. It's been announced that only 8 days live, it has already been shut down. It's being shut down. As of this weekend coming up, the 9th, I believe, is the last day that the servers will be on. Sony is refunding all of the people who purchased this game will get money back to the cards that they purchased it with. No longer having access, no longer on shelves. All the controllers that people have that they bought for this game, they just became mint edition, like collectible items. They're like literally never, ever going to be ever anywhere, which is kind of wild. What do you think about this, man? What do you think about Sony making this game no longer accessible and what it means for the future of games?
It's crazy. I mean, even to have a digital versus physical back and forth, you bought that digital, you can refund it. You bought the disc, I don't know what's up with the disc. I don't know what that's about. This game was in development for 8 years.
8 years.
And tabling what I want to hit in a sec, it's just a shame that these devs spent this time working on this with, you know, people at Sony telling them push towards this, go to live service, go this route. You know, we watched The Last of Us 2's multiplayer evolve to be its own game to now just then be shut down. And here we are again, just seeing how, you know, trying to follow the trend of gaming community rather than true passion and want to put something interesting and fun out there. Yeah. It crumbled. It crumbled this game. And the only thing I could think about through all of this is, you know, number one, that's unfortunate for the devs. Number two, where else could this money have gone? And right. I'm like, is this a sacrifice from my Infamous game? Is this a sacrifice for something else? Like
Factions itself.
I don't know. I feel like Sony right now, you know, they're lucky Astro Bot is dropping the same week that this is happening because they would be under a lot of scrutiny.
I think so.
Without it. And, people are making jokes about how Sony now has -1 games. And it's like, it's true. You just 8 days or less, you just dropped it. Now what's going to happen? I mean, is it a tax write-off? Are you just going to sweep it under the rug and hope that everybody forgets about this stain? Because that's what this is.
That's what it is, man. And maybe that is what they think. Maybe because it just wasn't significant enough. And yeah, you're right. It was Firewalk. I think it's just, bro, this game had cutscenes, mocap cutscenes where actors came in to play these characters. Like, the cutscenes are actually really well done. The writing is actually pretty interesting, in my opinion. All of that for nothing. Absolutely for nothing. It's all just flushed down the toilet. And they said, we're taking it in a different direction that's better for players. But what does that even mean?
Bro, like Multiverse insane. Said the same thing when they shut their beta, whatever you want to call it, down in 2022. And then it's back. Who's playing it? You lost. Like, it's unfortunate, and I hope the devs find a way out of it, because the first people that are going to be cut are the people that had no decision making at all.
That's right. Yeah, man, and it's crazy because I don't think, Firewalk. This is their first game. It's comprised of former Bungie alumni and Activision alumni, and then they got acquired in April 2023. So that's it, man. It leaves them in a very tough spot. That's really a hard thing to see. I think as a gamer, it makes me interested to see how much more will go live and then be taken down. How many more times will we see this happen? We saw something like this happen when Cyberpunk dropped and it was a piece of shit, and everybody who couldn't play it was offered a refund and the game was taken from the stores. And it didn't mean that people who had it couldn't play it, but its reality is it didn't exist anymore. And that's going to be a new part of gaming, especially with the digital era.
Yeah, and we've seen it happen before with games, but it's been a lot longer than just 2 weeks.
A lot longer.
Friday the 13th took years. PT, Avengers even lived for maybe 3 or 4 years, but here we are now.
Legend of Korra. Actually, I can play my Legend of Korra because I have it downloaded and I never deleted it, by the way.
That's smart. I can still play PT.
That's crazy.
From 2015, because I got that stored still. So, this is a reality that people are concerned with, and it's going to be interesting to see if companies can make promises to people to make sure that their purchases are honored, or at least honor their devs. So,
yeah, man. I feel bad for the developers, but RIP to you guys, RIP to Firewalk, and we wish you the best as you rise like a phoenix into the next thing, whatever that ends up looking like. And yeah, man, we thank you, the listener, for taking the time to hear us out as we went into update or pulse1. We're glad to be here. We're glad that we can offer content and our thoughts on what's going on in gaming. And we'll do more of these when it comes to TV shows and when it comes to movies. So just know every time you tap in with us, regardless of how long or short the episode may be here at CUZZO-OP, it's always going to be 2 cousins, 1 podcast, and endless entertainment. Peace.